item on the agenda is the statements of economic interest forms. We handed out each one on there. Something that we have to fill out every year, being a elected member of the community. The next item on the agenda is our baseball field electric panel. We talked about it at several council meetings ago when it had burned up and electrical equipment was hard to find. We were able to locate one and have got it installed. We have a couple pieces, items we're gonna have to get to finish the repairs and upgrade. It should be ready in a couple of days. We've also did some work in the bathrooms out here for the baseball field, had some plumbing issues we've repaired, and fixed the light fixtures in there and rebuilt them. They're good to go. The next item on our agenda is our TAP grant. The last council meeting that we were able to have, we decided to select another engineer to be over our TAP grant. We have a list of 52 pages of engineering firms that does civil engineering for this type of grant. I looked through them. There's only one more from our area, from the Florence area, and that's Whiteley and Collins. Anybody want to look at it? Look at it. There's some from Athens, Huntsville, they're from everywhere. The only one else from Florence is Whiteley and Collins on this list here. I did talk with Richard Edmondson that works there. He said they would be glad to take on our TAP grant if they would like for us, if we would like for them to. They also handle Cherokee's TAP grant when they have one in Cherokee. First thing they would do was come down and they would do a walkthrough assessment of the projected cost that was done previously and turned in to the state, and then they would let us know if that was comparable with what they think it should be done.
Is that for the sidewalks?
That's for the sidewalks. And we actually have okay, we checked with Mr. Lindsay in Montgomery and who's over these projects, and we have to be ready to bid for construction by 9/26 of 2024. From the time that you're issued that you're awarded, you have 2 years to submit for bid. So we have ample time to get that done. If y'all see anybody else on there you'd like for us to call, we'll be glad to call. There's some from Athens on there, so I mean there's some from everywhere on there. Yeah, it's nationwide on there. There's multiple on each page, and there's 50-something pages of them. But they're all pre-approved by the state.
They recently did a survey for a very good friend of mine, and they were the cheapest survey outfit, and I called Tim in Florence, and
Well,
they were the best, cheapest, quickest.
He told me they did the TAP grants for Cherokee, had recently done a couple for them, so. Anybody want to make a motion to approve them?
Make a motion.
Like I said, they're gonna come down and do a feasibility assessment on it, and then they'll get back with us if they see anything contradicted to what the seal group did. And then before we enter anything into any kind of contract program. Is that good with everybody?
Good.
Okay. All right, the,
Excuse me, Mr.
I'm
Mayor.
sorry, the roll call, I'm sorry.
Mayor Allen Cadell,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Ricky,
Yeah.
Ricardo.
We received a call from the school, they're taking the 3rd through the 6th grade students to the Space Rock Center. So, they asked us if we'd like to donate toward the trip. Tanya,
No, Mayor.
ran about it, and the big, issue was the fuel in the bus trip, the bus is for, to go over there. You know, they raised some money, but Donnie said they lacked like $2,390, but, you know, do we wanna donate some to the trip?
What is the deal this pay?
$1,200
That's for 2 buses, 2 bus drivers, and the fuel.
in the fuel.
That was the total cost? That's what they like.
That's what they like. The fuel in the buses is $1,200.
The bank might split that with y'all.
The 23, let's say 2,400, do 1,200 apiece. Thank you very much. Have a motion for that?
Mr. Mayor, I will say that if you, as we make this motion, state in the minutes that it does serve a public purpose, the
Okay.
expenditure of the public funds.
We have a motion.
Second.
We get a roll call on that?
Yes, please.
Mayor Allen Cadell,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Ricky Haggard,
Yes.
Ricardo. Thank
you
y'all,
for the,
thank y'all.
they'll take care of where they have a nice trip, and the expenditures will be great and have.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ed.
Thank y'all, appreciate it.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, moving to agenda item number 8, I would like to declare at this time that there is a vacancy, 2 vacancies on the town council, and pursuant to 11-54G-1, that the vacancy is to be filled by the council members present at the next regular or any subsequent meeting of the council. And those vacancies must be filled within the next 60 days. They are for the unexpired terms of Ms. Casey Springer and Mr. Jeremy Simpson.
Okay with the council to have another meeting next Tuesday night, and we'll post it until Monday. So we'll post for anybody that'd like to make out, so
It's for the regular schedule.
it can be all right.
Or subsequent.
Or
Or
so.
subsequent.
Anybody that'd like to
Alan,
make
I've got a
application?
suggestion. It doesn't affect me, but I know that several months ago, there was discussion about annexing Paradise and out in 90, where you expand the annexation so people could vote, other people could vote. Well, that would also allow other people to represent Waterloo on the council. So I think before you fill these two positions, it would be good to go on ahead and, if you're gonna annex, do it before you have an appointment of two new council people, because allowing more people, and it does affect me, I'm already annexed, but I think there are probably other people who would have a good skill set and an interest in serving.
I don't disagree with you on that. The problem is the time period involved to annex other portions into the town, and when you've only got,
Could you vote in retroactive?
No, we could not.
no. And the
I mean,
problem,
I'm just speaking for people who have expressed an interest for a long time. You know, it makes sense, because there's a lot of people who love Waterloo, who
Right.
would like to serve.
and I don't disagree with you, but the problem with where our present council members' primary jobs are, is sometimes we can't get a quorum here.
Right.
So we need 5 on the council to try to get 3 here.
Right.
So when it's just 3, you gotta have all 3 of them here. People gonna have things to come up.
Okay.
So but I do agree with you on your concern and your thought on other people like to be a part of the community, part of the council also. So we will post it, in town, and we'll take applications till 5 o'clock next Monday night, and have a meeting next Tuesday night at 7 and try to fill those 2 positions.
What are the requirements, do you know offhand?
You have to live within the limits, town limits for
60 days.
60 days.
60 or 90. Okay.
That's it.
Well, and be of age to vote,
Yeah, being that age.
and competent.
How do you go about appointing them? Do they have any,
It's strictly by the vote of the town council for this particular,
okay, so the existing town council votes in
the,
the new, so it's.
that's right, to fill the unexpired terms.
Until election time comes back around.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And then we have 60 days to do it if the government puts someone in there for them.
Any other questions about anything? All right, Ms. J, anything you like to bring up? You was on the agenda, but.
No, there's too many people here.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
That's not even funny. You knew I was gonna say that. But I do have a packet that I would like to give y'all. But no, sir, I do not want to get up and speak in front of all these people with a camera. No, thank you.
Okay, all right. You wanna go ahead, have you got it where you wanna
I'll
give
give
it?
it tomorrow.
All right, go ahead and give it to us. That'll be fine.
What is the annexation schedule?
Next Tuesday night.
When is this annexation scheduled, or going to take place, or looking to take place?
Let me make a comment here. There's something that, this council has done that I don't allow in any of the other towns that I am municipal attorney for. This, council meeting is not an open meeting to take questions all during a council meeting. That's what the public comments are for at the end. Now, this is a small community, everybody knows each other, and people need to be able to communicate openly with their council members. That being said, however, it is strictly a matter of protocol with most town councils that any public comments are held till the end of the session, or you're put on the agenda. Now, please, no disrespect to you, except that open questions coming in the middle of a council meeting disrupts what the Alabama League of Municipalities calls the proper function of municipal government. So please, I ask, if you have comments, either talk to them before the meeting starts, or save your comments for after, for the public comment part of the council meeting. Again, please, no disrespect to you, but it's just for the orderly function of the council to be able to get their business done.
While she's gone to get that Kelly, you're next on
Oh, I am? Okay.
the, yes, you are.
Okay, so, we have a piece of equipment at our diner we would like to donate to the community center. It's the big steam table. It's brand new is a $16,000 piece of equipment, and, we would like to donate it, to the town. And, if Jay's amenable to accepting it, to use here at the community center for anything they want to do.
And do you expect a tax write-off for this?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Would you donate to anyone and not take a tax write-off for it? If it was a nonprofit?
If we needed it.
Our accountant will write you a subsequent letter for that, and we will get that to you. The only thing we need a good description of the piece of equipment
I have it.
to give him to prepare your letter.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes.
And I did talk to, there's Jay. I did talk to Jay about it, and she said they thought it would be useful for the community center at certain events that are held here. Wouldn't be used all the time, but it would be very nice to have certain functions that they have here. Thank you, appreciate it.
No, I appreciate y'all so much.
Thank you. That was Pat.
Talking.
I'd like to discuss this. I gave you yours.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Mr. Attorney, did you prepare any other contract for Monty Yeager other than, did you prepare that? You didn't prepare that, did you?
Well, are you telling me I didn't, but no, you're right, I
You
did
did
not
not prepare
prepare.
that. And, did you prepare any other legal document? Do you have anything at your office with that contract that serves a public purpose pertinent to section 94 of the Alabama
Well, of course,
Constitution?
section 94 is, as you know, and as the documents that you brought forth, is very broad and is settled by the town council as to what the public purpose is. That public purpose was determined at the meeting where the leases were initially approved, that it helped the public purpose for the, not only the recreational benefits, to make a property that had not been available to the public for some 20, 30 years at the time, as well as taking off the liability of the town, as well as generating income from the town. So
Okay.
that was done
And if
back
you will
then.
look at the deed, a statutory warranty deed that Mr. Culver, Ezra Culver, left to the county water. Upon his death in 1995, it had to be a dedicated park. That's the only thing it can be used for, or it goes back to the natural heirs.
That's right, for public use.
What is the public use down there? It's being lived in full time for the last 2.5 years. It's a rent. That's a rent lease agreement. The town can't go into a rent lease agreement with anyone.
Oh, yes, ma'am, they can.
Oh, no, you can't.
Yes, well, I'm not going to argue
Well,
with you.
I have your
You
public
know, I'm
purpose
not gonna
doctrine
argue
in
with
front of you.
Ms. Alexander, we've had this discussion many times before. If you have
It's
any
not
other additional
serving the public
information to
purpose.
bring forth that would change the mind, or any other type of action you would like to take, that is totally up to you. The council has other matters that we are dealing with these things as well at this time, and that's all I care to say about that.
Can you tell us how Wyatt scribbled through? Can anyone tell us, Chris, you signed that? Who signed it? Who was with you? Was it just you and Monty? Everyone was there. How did Ms. Coates get it? Would you like to answer that? How you came in possession?
Yeah, I don't think there's a need for discourse with Ms. Alexander about this.
Would you speak up, please?
There's not a reason for discourse with you about that, as these questions have been answered many times
No,
before.
they haven't. You said it served a public purpose and it never has.
I just gave you the public purpose that was stated in the meetings at the time.
Well, the town let that property land down, and they denied the heirs the right
Are
to
you
that
an heir?
property.
Are
No,
you
but
an
I
heir?
do know
Then
that-
you do not have standing to even talk
I
about
do
this
have
situation.
the list of heirs.
You do not have standing to even talk about it, and if the heirs want to come forward to complain, let them do so.
I will make sure they do. And if you don't do something, I wanna know what the council's gonna do about this. You can't do a rent lease agreement.
Yes, ma'am, you can.
I can't. I mean, you have your attorney views and
More
I have
than,
mine.
more than this council has talked to the Alabama League of Municipalities as well as my advice about whether or not you can do a lease agreement, and that is just the way it is.
I disagree with you.
Well, that's fine.
I read it in black and white. Doesn't take rocket scientists to figure it out.
Yes, ma'am.
I do have a question.
Okay.
I have a document in front of me. Who is the lease made out to? Is it made out to Mr. Yeager?
It was made out to Mr. Yeager.
But I have a document that has Ms. Putz's name on it.
What you got, you ain't got nothing to say?
Who is leasing? Is Mr. Yeager?
This is not
subleasing the-
an area of discourse.
She
It's not,
advertises it as her second Airbnb.
and I believe that the time is over as well.
We'll take all your comments into consideration. And thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, any comments? For council?
Council, anybody have comment? Anybody else have something you'd like to bring that up now?
I didn't know whether we were able to comment until afterwards. If you're taking comments,
Yep, go
just
ahead.
my observation, sounds like some legal interpretation of what has occurred. And, you know, for transparency, maybe it should be discussed or explained a little bit further in the future. Like, I have no dog in this race, I'm just saying, it just sounds like there's some animosity here about a feeling about something that may have not been interpreted, or if there's, in other words, if there's some contract that the person who donated this land to Waterloo, and if they were very general as far as the public purpose, then there's a lot of room for interpretation there, even if you're renting, because it benefits the city indirectly. But if that contract is more specific and says it can only be used for, say, a playground or some other issue, or it excludes things that can't be, it can't be used for. In other words, it excludes that rental. I don't know. I'm just saying it would be good to just kind of spell out why that decision was made for transparency's sake, because it could just be something that's a matter of interpretation from the council, and it's not illegal to interpret a contract. Does that make sense?
No.
So, you know, whether this is the right time or not, it sounds like,
Well,
you know, Pat brought up something, and again, I didn't, you know, I'm kind of like, who knows here? Pat's brought up a concern, maybe Patty has, I don't know. But maybe just for goodwill, to kind of explain why the decision was made, and was it, how did you determine it was for public purpose? That's all
I can take that,
No.
back in 2020, excuse me, ma'am.
It's supposed to be the mayor and the council
He is-
does the public
he is
purpose.
asked-
You don't even have any say in it.
Let's answer the question. Answer his question.
To answer your question, yes, back in 2020, it was discussed that the beach house had been in great disrepair for quite a period of time. And Mr. Yeager came to the council saying that he would be willing to improve the property and then make it available for an Airbnb so that it would be able to be used for a public purpose at that time. That has changed, and that is something that the actual purpose of it or use of it has changed since that time, and the council is taking that under discussion. But yes, I mean, at that time, we were carrying, of course, the insurance from AMIC was on it for a liability of an unused residence at the time. So with the property being improved and some rental income coming in, definitely served a public purpose, and in the spirit of that contract, would be available to the public to be able to be used and rented by the town and made money for the town.
How is it serving a public purpose when Miss J is renting it full time?
At the time that it was, well, number one, it is being occupied where it was not. Number two, it was improved where it was not. That definitely serves a public purpose for the town.
Not for everyone in the town it doesn't, and it has service for
It,
everyone.
no, Section 94 has been more than once litigated that it does not have to serve
That's amendment.
not only
That's
the
amendment
town.
772, section 9401.
And Lawson
Economic
versus
development.
Forestry, all of those cases, Ms. Alexander, we've been through this ad nauseum. Now, nothing else.
Plus, when Mr.
That
Yeager,
doesn't have to serve a purpose.
when he took on the project, he put campsites there for the public to
Oh,
use too.
yeah, I've got friends that use it, they love it. It's serving their purpose and they're renting.
Campsites were
And the
best
city's getting
country
money.
made.
I'm just saying neutral on this.
But
I'm
it's-
saying, seems like it could serve a purpose.
Any of these
If there's
circumstances,
something legal that's, ultimately, if there's some kind of legal contract, this can't be done.
Why wasn't the attorney involved in this contract? Why wasn't the attorney, that's what we pay him for, to keep us out of lawsuits. Why wasn't he involved? Why didn't he write this contract the legal way? Because that's not a legal written contract. That's just a rent lease agreement.
And a rent lease agreement is what we entered into. So, and
Well,
yes,
whatever,
it's
that's
very
your
often
opinion,
for,
I have mine.
yes, ma'am.
On the document that I'm looking at, did the town agree that either Mr. Yeager or Ms. Putz could put in an RV park? This was written in. Was it written in before Mr. Strickland signed it or after?
It had to be written in before I signed it.
I'm sorry?
It had to be there before I signed it, I guess.
What did he
A
say?
yes?
I'm
He
assuming.
said yes.
What did he say?
He said he guessed.
He did. You signed it, was it written in when you signed it, or was it blank?
Mr. Mayor, they're getting out of order. The discussion.
Well, like I say, we're taking all this in consideration, and this topic is being discussed. And it, where we consulted other people, they've all said the same thing. It comes down to interpretation of the deed and the law and public purpose, public use. So we're taking all those things into consideration.
If you can get in touch with the heirs, let them decide. That's the thing to do.
I can do that.
Do it.
I can do that, Mr. Hayes.
Do it.
Would you like me to tell you who one of them is?
No.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Well, we need actually a motion to go into executive session for two different reasons. 35-2A-7A3 to discuss with legal counsel the ramifications and legal options of pending litigation, controversies not yet litigated but imminently likely to be litigated or imminently likely to be litigated if the government body pursues a proposed course of action. The second reason is 35-2A-7A5 to discuss the purchase, sale, exchange, or lease of property not involved in a condemnation.
We have a motion to go into executive session.
We need a roll call. Ms. Oh, also stated that the council, when it comes back out of executive session, there will be no decisions made or announced to the public, so the meeting will close at that time.
I have a question, can you all executive session, what I gave y'all, like, will that, can you look at that too?
As long as it meets one of those two issues. I haven't looked at it yet, but if it does,
Does not?
yeah, if not, then we'll see.
We'll let you know.
Yes, you need a roll call.
Mayor Alan Cadell,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Ricky, Ricardo. Okay, we're going into an executive session.
All right, we'll need to clear the room then, please.
Thank y'all.